conviction in the heart going into the fight. That's why, you know, you seen certain videos, if you've ever seen like a house cat or somebody's small dog run off a bear or something, because when that animal went after that bear, it had 100% conviction. It didn't even think for one moment about dying. It didn't even matter to it. It was just, I am full on attacking this thing. It's near my family. I'm giving this everything I got. And when that bear saw that cat coming like that with that full on conviction, he just knew, I'm not at that level of full on conviction. Your garbage can is not that important to me. I'm out of here. I don't need none of this, because that's frightening even for a bear to see in a 14 or a 8-pound house cat. Okay, and a bear can knock a man's head off with one hand, and they know that. But that kind of conviction is terrifying to see when you see that your opponent has it more than you. So you be the one with it. Have the conviction. Okay? Have that energy. Now, I'm not saying you're ready to just master this the first try or whatever, but that's something to work on, okay? Because that inner work is going to make just as much. You have to have all the outer technical work and the conditioning and the sparring and everything you do. But also this other unseen element, it can add just as much to your game, okay? That's the unseen factor between champion. Those kind of things is the mindset and the visualization and the feeling that champions have that they're the champion. If you turn off the announcer and all their butt kissing and watch the fight, just watch it for yourself, the champion fighter usually is never anything that's all that magical, okay? He just ends up being a little more in the right place in the right time in the fight. And his moves end up counting just a little better. And it's a tiny fraction of difference in math like that, where somebody ends up in their result. It's not because this guy was stronger or a better person or any of that. It's where their conviction in their heart and their mind was of what they were creating, visualizing, and believing in going into that fight. Okay? So when you go into your match, be that badger that, you know, runs off a bear, or that house cat who runs off a bear. Be that thing that it doesn't matter what your weight is and what your height is and what your bench press is. None of that's going to matter at all in hand-to-hand combat when your opponent looks in your eyes and sees that you've got some kind of furious berserker animalistic conviction about winning, and you don't even care what happens. You're just there to go for it, like full on, like a berserk animal. Not a stupid animal. You're going to use your technique. I'm just talking about bringing up the energy of it, bringing up that energy in you, because you can manifest that, okay? And you can bring way more of that into the ring than your opponent. And no matter how much of a Billy Badass they are, with what training and how many victories of whatever, actually, if you bring enough of that, they can they can lose all that big reputation and hype right there on the spot. Okay, so you know, yes, the inner work's just as important as the outer. That's all. I guess that's what I'm saying here. May the Force be with you. Remember, the Force is with you. Open up to more of it. Use more of it in your tournament and everything else in life. I love you, and thank you for your question. What's your opinion on Dr. Amin-Ra diet protocol? One vegan meal a day. Well, I usually eat one vegan meal a day. I'm sure it's nothing like the vegan meal a day he eats, but you know, we have quite a bit in common just starting off from there. So I don't know. I mean, whenever it comes to somebody's diet like that, who's doing their own thing and helping people, I just try to look at the people that have been helped by it, and if there's real people, you know, being really helped by whatever they're doing, then I'm like, awesome, you know, you have my full support. Does that mean I'm gonna eat that diet? No, because I'm gonna eat my diet. But if I was a sickly person and I needed somewhere to turn, to a healer, then I would eat that diet or whatever, you know, the guy's working with, if he's helping people, and that would be awesome. So he's got my full support, you know, if that's what's going on there. Again, I don't know the names, and I don't keep up with enough of who's who to really know exactly who we're referring to sometimes, but you know, from a generalization there, that was the vibe I was getting. Hopefully I'm in the ballpark. Okay, awesome questions. Thank you. And you got another big question here. I'd like to ask some tips. I have high levels of arsenic and aluminum in my body, high levels of cortisol and estrogen. Okay, hormones are all off, of course, with all that in there. Although, okay, details of your hormones, okay. Adrenal fatigue, absolutely. Yeah, you're going through just a hellacious situation in your body with all that arsenic and aluminum. So you need very serious heavy metal and, you know, basic intestinal and organ detox. So everything on my detox video, man, go look at my detoxification video and start doing all that as soon as possible, as soon as you understand how to do each piece. And you can get heavy metals out of your body, and you got to do it, okay? Because that stuff doesn't come out easy on its own. It's real healing. Getting that kind of stuff out, it's a proactive thing. So there's enough information and practices to do that with what's on my detoxification list. This is exactly the kind of thing I designed it for, because this is exactly the kind of world we're living in. People getting heavy metal poisoning and radiation poisoning and you know, chemicals, unknown consequences of various new chemical creation, poisoning, you know. So we have to be flushing and getting stuff out, guys, more than ever, not less than ever. Okay, we're in a society where people cleanse not at all. They just, you know, stuff in. Well, none of the toxicities are coming out. It's building up into like a toxic, you know, you're like in an atmosphere of a lot of stuff that needs to come out of that atmosphere for you to be more free, to say the least. So, yes, everything on my detoxification list, if you get all those things implemented and you're rolling smooth with it and you want more, if you want even more things to add that you can be doing after you got all that implemented in your life, I can give you more for sure, and I will if that's what you do, okay? But get proactive, get on the detoxification video, absorb that information in the links and in the understanding, and bring together what's needed to place those things into your life and start changing the math here, my friend. There's no point in even worrying about your hormone profile right now, because your glands have metals and arsenic and crazy stuff interfering with their function. So your hormone levels are not anything they should be, and you're not feeling anything like you could be. So obviously with you, it's very serious to focus on getting a lot of things out that are in the way. So I've said it enough times, the detoxification video, start there, implement those things. When you're ready for more, let me know. There's even more you can do. And it can be done. You can get all that out of you, get your vitality back, get your freedom back of your organs and your mind and your body and your well-being. And a lot of things can change from there. And the journey of learning self-healing on all the different levels is super rewarding and amazing and mind-opening in every way, okay? It's like a school for all kinds of things about life, okay? So start with that and let me know where you're at, okay? Keep me updated if you're ready for more or how things go. I love you, I very much care about you, and I very much care about you getting all that crap out of your body so you're not in a tormented, messed up body. You need to have your body for you so you can be who you really are. And it's going to be real hard to figure that out when every frequency in you is getting jumbled by foreign objects that shouldn't be there. It can be done. Start cleansing and cleaning. Everything on the detox. It's just called detoxification, capital letters. Look it up on my page here. Okay? It's a very important video. That's one of the ones I want millions of people in this world to see. Not, you know, millions of people in this world don't need to see me do a dungeon workout to heavy metal music. There's only a certain fraction of the world that cares and can love and enjoy that with me, and that's great. But there's millions of people in this world who need to clean themselves out of foreign contaminants that are torturing their life and ruining the potential of what it could have been and what it still can be, okay? Proactively learning how to wake up and control your health, start controlling other energies, and it's amazing. So do that, my friend, you can, and I'm with you in heart and spirit, and I'm with you here, so let me know what's up. We'll troubleshoot or anything you need along the way. Okay, what is your go-to method cleansing crystals? Salt water using good salts like Himalayan pink salt or Celtic sea salt, real salts. It's my go-to method. Supposedly that's good enough. I don't know. I mean, I've never gotten really overly concerned about that subject, to be honest with you. It's just something I do sometimes. I do like the sun charging though. I intrinsically somehow understand how that works, collecting energy, because as I cleaned out my body over the years and my consciousness was changing and something was growing and evolving in me, I got to where I could lay out in the sun with my shirt off and feel the sun, like the radiation beams penetrating way past my skin. I could feel them reaching way into me and just like working on things inside of me is just this amazing feeling, you know. So a crystal is a collector and a conduit of energy, so you know, after cleaning them, sun soaking them, that definitely instinctively makes a lot of sense on a lot of levels. Cool question, thank you. Love and respect, my friend. How do you avoid spine injuries? I haven't gotten one, but it's so common. Okay, well, the more you think about a spine injury, the more likely you're going to manifest one, just so you know. What I would suggest is instead, how do I think about having the strongest, most stable core of anybody around me? That's what I'm going to fill my mind with. I'm the guy who does a few extra special things to make sure that he has a really strong core so that he can hold his spine aligned right under any load. Because that's the basic answer to your question physically is core strength. You need enough core strength. And I mean not just abs and not just obliques and not just lower back and not just any of it. I mean full control of all of it, all around. So that when you're under, you know, tremendous amount of weight and it's shifting and moving, you got control. You can get that and not lose it and not hurt yourself and not tweak things. You can have stability under tremendous weight. So it's mostly about the core, and it's also about the way you think. So hopefully those two things, you know, twist them together and make something bigger and better out of them. A thread, if you will. Respect and love to you, friend. Oh, my profile picture with the lions. Yeah, talk about that a little. So at a very special time in my life, I got to volunteer at a place where it was kind of like a rescue for lions, tigers, and bears on my type stuff, and cougars, and you know, a few other things, lynxes, and so I volunteered there because I always loved those animals, always felt super connected to them. So for me, it was a magical, meaningful, wonderful experience. And you know, I did basic things. I helped build stuff around the ranch and repair things where they had all these animals. Cage repair, going in and cleaning the cages, and that was good for me. Somebody's got to go shovel all their, you know, lion turds out, right? But you're in a cage with a lion, so now this was a rescue retreat, and what that means is some of them were being rescued from nice environments that were just going bye-bye and the cats needed somewhere else to go. Some of them were being rescued from very abusive, messed up situations, and we had to clean those cages too. And there are certain cats, large cats, that once they've been traumatized by a man, every man looks the same to them after that, okay? And they are horrifyingly angry and aggressive and threatening your life and charging you and all kinds of interesting things. And I even got to clean those cages. I've always had a very good instinctive connection and understanding with animals, so I'm able to be closer and do things and maneuver with animals better than other people. In the times that I worked there, I was able to read them, understand them, telepathically understand them, empathetically somehow, whatever it is. I forget all the right words, but it doesn't matter. Intuitively understand them, and I never got hurt because I knew when an animal was insecure about something, I knew exactly where I could stand and where I couldn't. I knew when not to be in the way of when one needs to get from here to there. You know, I was just in touch with the animals, and I loved them, and some of them loved me, and it was great. The feeling of hugging a real lion who loves you, I can feel it right now. It's priceless. I mean, what an amazing gift. I can still feel it, okay? We're talking that's 20 years ago or something, and I can still feel it. So for about 10 months, I got to volunteer at a place like that. I even got to take care of 2 young bears. I loved bears. I got to take care of 3, or help take care of 3 baby tigers as they were going through stages, and they're absolutely adorable, and their claws are all razor sharp. So like, you're just playing with them, and the whole time you're just kind of being shredded. And I don't mind. I have thick skin, and I heal from scratches, so I don't mind stuff like that. But like, it's crazy. And their little needle sharp teeth, they're always biting you. Just like your mommy lion, they're always biting and wrestling and clawing until she has to like, hey, let me rest a little, Junior, It was just the most wonderful thing. The energy of those animals, to feel them physically, even to be close to them, even to hear their voice is amazing, but to feel them physically, I mean, for me, that's just something I had to do. Like my whole life, that was just something I had to do, and I just manifested it somehow without really knowing how the law of attraction worked again. Simply by fantasizing about it. That's all I ever did. That made that appear in my life in a way that would seem so random. That opportunity, if you understood where I grew up and where we moved to find that nearby to where we moved to, where you would never suspect it, would be a place where somebody was doing that, was taking care of a bunch of lions and tigers and stuff. Lions, tigers, bears, all the big cats, all the things I loved. He even got some ligers while I was there. 1,100-pound cats who were actually quite gentle, so we could actually work with them. I mean, they accidentally broke their cages, okay? They were like prehistorically big. It was amazing. Just the whole thing. These cougars, there was this one cougar named Risky, and he would, it was him and a female in this one enclosure, and he was very playful with me, and she was cool too. So I'd go in there and I'd be trying to clean up, I'd try to scoop up this little mess right here. And he would, they have things to climb on and obstacles and stuff. He'd run up it and jump off it so silently I never even hear him, like a total ninja kung fu master out of nowhere, and hit me in the head with all 4 paws and just put me on the ground, just on my face, just boom. Not even hurt me, but just out of nowhere I'd be just on the ground, and I'd jump up like, what? And he'd skedaddle over into his little house, and he'd run in there, and then he'd kind of stick his head out and swing his paw at me and try to get me to play with him. He literally would just play with me like, I was his brother. And it was just a beautiful thing. And he cheap-shotted me so many times, that cat. I had to do it with lions too, because they wanted to jump on me when I wasn't looking from high platforms, and I had to make sure they didn't. Because you actually could get hurt with that kind of stuff going on. So I had to catch them every time, I know what you're thinking, don't do it. I could catch them, I could catch them every time. This cougar, he knew I was watching him, and he was like a ninja. He would always find a way to do some kind of mind trick and get out of your line of vision when you didn't think he did, and then hit you from some other angle and knock me down. He didn't dig his claws in, he'd tackle me, so that just like I was another cat like him. Or he'd bounce off me and try to knock me down, and then I'd chase him around a little bit. And it was just the most fun, amazing, wonderful, beautiful thing. I even took a couple of our dogs over there one time, and he could reach out, that same cougar, the link on the chains of the fence he was in was kind of big like this, and he could reach his hand out and gently, without his claws, smack my dog in the face, who was a basset hound at the time, smack her in the face and pull his hand in so fast she didn't see it, and he just did it over and over. And she's looking at him like, what's going on? And he's like, pow! Like a magician, just pow, pow. Not hitting her hard, just, just like this quick little slap. Just where'd that come from, Just amazing. But anyway, I could go on and on for hours just, sharing, reminiscing. But yeah, stuff like that. So, just working on the place and helping build it up and, feeding them meat, I chopped up countless amount of cows and horses and dead animals, even roadkill. We would have people donate anything they could to provide enough meat to feed all these lions, and enough overall food to feed those bears who just eat everything. So it's very interesting. I got good with anatomy, slicing up a whole lot of horses and cows and stuff, and I literally would be driving home covered in blood, sitting in my pickup truck, day after day. Would have been pretty interesting if I got pulled over. I had a couple sharpened knives sitting on the seat, and I'm covered in just blood, you know. But anyway, it was a very interesting time for a lot of different reasons. But I don't want to spend like a whole hour. I run out a whole nother camera. Okay, camcorder battery. We already got like 6, 7. This is too epic. Who's gonna watch all this, right? Good thing I'm gonna have to timestamp all this madness. But I love you guys, so it's worth it. So that's a little bit about the lions. The profile picture. Are your kids' pineal glands open because of the way you feed and it shouldn't be calcified, right? Yeah, I believe so. I believe we still have theirs open. And one time, the first or second time I ever purposely astral projected out of my body, I looked at my body and I kind of did something to care for it, and then I walked over to where at the time one of my sons was sleeping in the same room. They both were. When my younger son had just been born, my older son was sitting on the edge of the bed, so I was like in an astral form, and he was just kind of looking at me, and he was just sitting there looking kind of confused. And I wanted to go about my way and start exploring things, so I thought, well, whatever, he's fine. But as I passed by the bed, I noticed his body was laying on the bed behind him, asleep. So he was actually sitting there in a slightly confused state, wondering kind of how he got there, sitting in the astral realm, semi-awake, semi-lucid of what was going on. So I think, you know, kids, if you keep them uncalcified, they're naturally fluctuating in and out of more awareness than they realize. You know, I think that's more of a natural state. And it quickly gets trained out of you in this world by your perception. And the way you're traumatized for, you know, into thinking a certain way. You become closed off and non-receptive and don't notice certain things at a very young age, you know, unfortunately. I think if people got good regressions, they'd have their mind blown by some of the things that actually you did experience during your childhood that you don't remember now. And not just like, you know, I'm not talking negative stuff like Uncle Weirdo did whatever. I mean like good stuff, like amazing mind-blowing stuff that we've probably forgotten from having it trained out of you in the world, and you were too young to know the difference between what you should hold and what you shouldn't. And if you regressed us now, we'd be like, oh wow, that's amazing, I'm not losing that. But anyway. Okay, good questions. I love you guys and thank you. Dive in the topic of semen retention and tantric sex, and if any experiences. I don't really have any experiences with tantric sex or anything, so I'm not the guru. I haven't even read the book, you know, so like I don't know about any of that. You should educate people on here if you want to, if you know something about it. The goods, the bads, but you know, speak from experience. I mean, and be honest, whatever you know. For semen retention, like, you know, I don't know. There's definitely a difference in energies when you do something like that, and I believe that you can learn to channel those energies into other things. At this point, I find myself naturally channeling energies into different things, and when energy moves from one place to another, like when my overall creative energy can move around into creative projects and this and that and different things, and you know, I might not have that much interest in sexual things really anyway, because I'm so busy like with some manic creative endeavor that I'm so into, you know. So I might be, you know, going for a long period of semen retention without even really, you know, planning it that way. Or it's not that I like would enforce that on myself or something, but there have been times in my life where that's just naturally what I was doing instinctively anyway. And energies definitely do shift, like your priorities in your mind and the way you're thinking, the kind of life you're creating and the patterns, it does shift. So, you know, I encourage people to experiment with making changes like that, not from an enforce it on yourself like a religious thing. That's all nonsense. We're talking about learning to work with energy. So semen retention, okay, that's just a change in the pattern of the way you've been doing things, right? So that's a change in energies, and those energies can be, yes, it's a physical energy, but there's also spiritual, living life, conscious energy behind it, or it wouldn't even be there. It would just be dust, unanimated. So at all levels of this, there's an opportunity to learn to use tremendous energy for other things. And, you know, your creative energy, actually, if you can tap into it, I think it's unlimited. I don't think there's a limited supply. That's why I would never worry about, giving away inventions on a daily basis, if nothing else, because whatever, you know. There's an unlimited supply of creativity to tap into. You can invent what you need when you need it. So, and that's just one idea of creativity. I mean, creative energy can create another life, and creative energy can create life to music. Creative energy can create life to a new blueprint for a monumental building or a sculpture or whatever, or a world-changing philosophy. Creativity can be used for anything. That's the point. It's one of the root central elements of what you are as a consciousness, is a creative being. That's what it meant in the Bible to be created in the image of your Creator. It was not that God looks like a silly hairless monkey person. It was that you're a creative being having this experience. You are from that creative being. You're a creator. That's your nature. So when you're suppressing it because the world around you doesn't like creativity and has all these other beliefs against it, like, you're going to have a lot of health dysfunctions and mental dysfunctions and all kinds of stuff. And again, I'm speaking from personal experience, and I have lots more shadow work and internal work and energy work and this work and that work to do on myself. But that's the good news, because as awesome as life dimensions have opened up to me already, I'm barely getting started on my journey. You know what I mean? That's the good news here, guys. So that's all I really have to tell, just touch on those subjects in general. I'm not an expert. I don't have a bunch of thoughts or struggles on that topic per se. Those are my few thoughts. Hopefully it helps. Love and respect to you, friend. How many sets a day and which rep? Oh, I think I answered that one. Didn't I answer that one? Yeah, okay. Okay, if the human body is only able to gain a fixed amount of muscle, like 1 pound naturally per month, what is the point of running a given program instead of another? Let's assume equal importance is given to each muscle group. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. What's the point in running a given program instead of another? Well, yeah, if all other things were equal and the human body was only capable of gaining a fixed amount. See, it's not a fixed amount, it's a fluctuating amount based on... Guys, you better be quiet, okay? It's a fluctuating amount based on the yin and yang of where you're at in your mind, body, spirit. So your current level of, it's not fixed, but let's call it your current amount of muscle growth potential per month. Let's say it is a pound. What's the point of running one program over another? Well, at any given time, the particular needs of your body, which muscles need the most help coming up, catching up, which muscle fiber types you have, and also what mood you're in. So a given program is going to be a little different for you at a given time, the results you get. And there's a lot of factors involved with that. But if you're saying they're both going to get you a pound in a month, then I would say the only thing that matters then is, do you prefer one over the other? I mean, which one do you enjoy doing? Which one is it going to be easier to stay passionate about, so you can always put in a productive workout and get that pound a month? Because there's sure as hell nothing wrong with a pound a month. If you actually put a pound of meat on a countertop and think, wow, if I had that much meat to a few muscles that I can think of in the next month, that's awesome. I don't need to be breaking any scales, but if you put that in the right places, you look better a month from now, So that's my thoughts on that. May the force be with you. Love and respect, my friend. How do we change our habitual thinking process to get past our egos and transcend beyond negative vibrations? Yeah. Well, it's a process, and I'm partway into mine. I've gone through quite a few levels up on it, and I can definitely help you guys finding your path and your process, and that's what a lot of this is. And the health aspect is necessary. You need to clean out these messed up, clogged up, purposely dumbed down, poison bodies that you're living in. And it's not you, it's your body, it's your house, okay? So clean your house, and then, figure out how to eat right for you with really good nutrition, really good micronutrients, and not overeating any excessive junk calories, and get in tune there, so that your body's running like a more open device with more glandular potential to actually work right. And then alkalizing and cleaning the pineal gland and working on all the necessary cleaning type ingredients to clean a pineal gland, and then working with the exercises, and not working with it, more developing habits and practices that you enjoy, where it becomes like your thing that you're looking forward to, like you wouldn't miss it for the world that day. Developing practices like that, okay, in the relationship that you're going to develop with changing your own thinking process, like with meditations, and it doesn't have to be a meditation, it can be reflecting on a new way of thinking that you find better. If you find that in somebody else, if you find some of that in this channel, that's great, and you can listen to it over and over and over, and whenever it feels right, and you can just let yourself soak in and open up a little bit more to what you're getting there. Things like that can help, from my experience. A certain amount of repetitive is necessary, because there's been a lot of energy over the years put into your mind repetitively from a lot of people, and yourself and the world has put a lot of energy into repeatedly training your mind to have very, 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 very limited and not very broad views of a lot of things about reality. So a certain amount of repetition and energy. Now, I can say this again: the best cheat to step up several layers in consciousness fast is to get in touch with how to open your heart chakra. You'll find an energy there that makes all other things possible much faster and much better. That's my highest recommendation. So again, start with my feline energy video. That one's good for me to watch over and over. It's if you can connect with it, the energy in it, and feel it, what it's about, and make that connection and open your heart, that's the key right there. The biggest key. It's like the sun in the center of the galaxy. So important. Your heart can help you change your mind, okay? But also repetition. You need to figure out for yourself what you really believe about life. And a lot of inner exploration. Hey, I recommend having an open philosophy that's constantly evolving for the better, so that as you continue to explore anything you can to elaborate more understanding of reality and its different dimensions and so forth, you can continue to expand upon your overall philosophy. But the better your philosophy is, as far as making you feel good and loved and right and okay, despite what everybody else in the world wants to say, the more effective and useful of a philosophy that's going to be, right there. To give you a few general ideas of my philosophy, just so you know, some things that can help with this world, is to understand that you're part of the all that is, and you always were. You're having an experience where you don't remember that, and you're confused, and all these religions are scaring you, and people are hurting each other here in the world because they're confused and stuff. But none of that's you. It's just this very wild experience we can have. And you're an eternal being, and the real you's so big and vast and amazing, I don't even know. The real you's incarnated in many places at the same time as many different types of beings. And what you actually know at the higher capacity of you is so much bigger than anything I could try to even begin to tap into with words, probably. So that's the game here. Life and consciousness is evolving itself and changing itself and having this experience with itself. And you're one of the forms it's doing that with itself with, okay? And as that form, you get to decide how that's done. You get to decide in the context of whatever your current reality is, what am I going to change, What do I choose to be? Start being that now. And then hold what you're being until you watch your reality start changing around you as you're being it. And then do the necessary steps that come up so you can help it to occur, the physical steps. But start by inwardly being who and what and where you need to be. And then everything out from there gets a lot easier. So it's about going inward, and it's about the heart, and it's about self-love and appreciation which leads to an automatic love and appreciation for all things. And it does not make you weak. It does not mean that you're a little bunny rabbit and you let things kill you. That's not what I mean. I mean an actual energy of love, a power. I'm talking about a power, okay? And yes, it feels good too. Okay, I love you and I hope that helps, my friend. Let's go from there. Herbs, videos about specific herbs. I'm going to be doing lots of that. Snake Plissken, absolutely. Yep, there's going to be more and more videos about individual herbs, getting more into it, so a person can really start to understand. And really, one video is not enough to begin to tap into the depth of how much any intelligent adaptogenic herb is a living, conscious, incredible thing that it will work with your body and adjust it accordingly to whatever it needs. And what a miracle that actually is. Light years beyond any man-made medicines even beginning to conceive of ideas like that. And it's right there. And these are the things we should be growing. These are the, in a world of supply and demand, these are the things that we should be enjoying and utilizing and becoming healthier and stronger and smarter. And then crops of these things would be getting grown, you know? These things would be the priority. So that's how, you know, you can even change the world through supply and demand. There's going to be more good videos about that, absolutely. I'm going to be doing herbs and some, you know, one thing at a time and breaking it down more going forward. Awesome. And herb stacks and stuff, sure, we'll be getting into that. So you've got, I'm wondering what should be sure, like I've taken Gotu Kola and any other herbs to stack with this. I just got ashwagandha as an addition. Yeah, those are a nice stack, or you can take them one at a time. And it's kind of nice to go back and forth between nice adaptogens or nice adaptogen stacks. There's a lot of adaptogenic mushrooms that are really nice. So yeah, I would keep researching them, and when you know enough about the herb to include it in your overall list, I'd start making separate stacks, and I'd run one stack of adaptogens for a while, and then I'd switch it to the other one, so everything stays fresh and you feel really good and you're noticing new benefits all the time. It's a really nice thing to do. I've tried it before. When I have my finances a little better together and timing of some things coming up and this and that, I'm going to be doing a better job of organizing herb stacks into my life. I do like to do that, and it is an amazing thing to work with. Amazing is an understatement. We're talking about intelligent herbs that can adjust everything in your body for the better. An adaptogenic herb is like the best friend you never had, but you can. Alright, Jedis, let's move forward. Thanks for the question, Snake. Make sure you escape from Los Angeles. Love and respect to you, man. Hi, Nether. I'm going to start mixing diatomaceous earth into my morning smoothies. And I'd like you to critique that very same smoothie. Kale, fruit, cottage cheese, egg whites. Saves me a bunch of time in the morning. I was wondering if you think anything else that can go in it. Well, the truth is, to me, you've already included like multiple food groups in one drink, which in the form of a smoothie, that's about the best way you can do that. If you're going to combine multiple food groups, it's not ideal for digestion, but if you're going to blend it up into a smoothie, at least it makes it a lot easier for the body. I would probably take digestive enzymes with that, because whenever you're mixing like fruit and dairy and vegetables are fine, they kind of go with most things, but fruit, not so much. The dairy, the eggs, all those mixes there. A wise thing to do with your morning drink with all that, so that you do kind of get the best out of it and not have like, yeah, to get the best out of it, I would take digestive enzymes. I would look into researching plant-based digestive enzymes. On one of my supplement videos I show one brand that I like, but there's plenty of good brands if you do a little research and understand what they are and how to use them. It's an amazing tool for bodybuilders, guys. If you're trying to digest extra food and break it down, it's not just how much you shove down your throat, it's actually how many particles get broken down small enough and fine enough to be taken in through all the different layers of the bloodstream and walls of tissues and end up in a muscle. So, horking down this and that all the time is not necessarily working that well. If you take a bunch of digestive enzymes with a complicated meal with a bunch of different food groups at least they will break down a lot more of that food and you will digest and actually use more of it. It's a bodybuilding tool, but it's also a life and health tool and a compensation tool for an age when people mix a lot of food groups that the body doesn't really know, has no business really trying to digest. And that's just commonplace and normal now, and everybody's guts are weird, and you know, it's life and whatever. But to adjust to some of those things, those are some things you could do. Digestive enzymes really, really help. They're a great tool to be working with and learning about anyway, for a variety of reasons. So that's my 2 cents. You got a lot of nutrition in that shake. It's a matter of whether your body can truly separate all those different types, completely different types of foods from each other in the digestive process, or is it prioritizing certain ones and missing out and the other ones are just rotting and fermenting in your gut. So the more digestive enzymes you take, the more you're going to absorb it, and it's not going to just rot and decay somewhere else, okay? And feed yeast or whatever you don't want. I hope that adds up for you, man. I love you and I appreciate your question, and this has only been like a 27-hour interview now, right? Or a question and answer. We're getting right down the last ones finally. Hey, I'm the one that waited till it got this big. I wanted to try a big old huge question and answer and see what it's like. You guys let me know what you think about this, however many videos this ends up being. If it's just too much to absorb at one time, or, you know, but it'll be time. It's time stamped. It's as good as done. Okay. I was thinking about what value do you give to sleep? I was thinking about an experiment I will do in the future after a bit more research on my own. Sleep from 22 to 6, which would be like 8 hours, right? And then stay up from 6 to 22 the next day. Or, read more here. Repeat, hours of activity be like 40, hours of sleep 8. Pros, I imagine, I would occur better use of time. So you're trying to find ways to be awake more often and spend less time sleeping to get more done. It's interesting, and I have experimented with that, not the way you're doing, but that's an interesting protocol. And hey, why not, you know? You probably learn something from it. You'll probably gain something from that experiment, if nothing else. So the way I did it is I ended up, I've had trouble sleeping so much at certain times in my life. I finally accepted I'm a super high energy person. Why not just go 2 days and then sleep one night? And I actually lived like that for a while. Not on drugs, okay? No. Me. Just, I would go 2 days and then I'd finally be truly pooped and ready to sleep, and I'd sleep one night, you know, kind of a heavy sleep, and you know, that worked for me for a while when the rest of the activities in my life were time with that. Now, as much as I'm training at different physical activities right now, I prefer to get some kind of sleep every night, because there's a lot of special resets and brainwashing and nervous system resets and rehabilitation and refreshments and cool things that happen when you sleep. So I like to get some sleep in each day, but if I'm not putting so many demands on myself physically, the kind of energy I have, at one point I just accepted, why lay there and torment yourself trying to sleep for hours at night? Why not just do stuff, get stuff done? And when I accepted that's just who I am, I did get stuff done for 2 days straight. It was awesome, super productive, you know, like it's just, yeah, it's just different use of energy than what other people are doing. If your energy pools start moving in a different direction on your waking, sleeping cycles, you can do things with that. I think it's rewarding to be creative and at different stages in your life and try things like that and learn things and see how it applies to what. So you might like it, man. So yeah, just always be ready for the next adjustment. If something's not working well enough, be ready to make another change. That's as long as you go into something open-minded and you're ready to adjust it when it needs it, you should be all good. Interesting plan though. Thanks for your question. Love and respect, man. May the force be with you. Why do you consider gaming? That was the one at the top. What an easy diet that I can use. Okay, so that's a repeat from the top. We're done, guys. I got through with this awesome thread. So I think I might delete all the questions on here and just repost this thread and just keep using this one so you guys start refilling it. We'll see. And because I like this idea, this works well. when I see a lot of awesome questions, I'm putting aside some time, bunch of time, and I'm just going to really get into this and sink into it and take my time like this, you know, kind of like doing it that way instead of trying to put together short ones on a frequent basis where I'm kind of starting to want to get a little in depth with you guys on stuff, but it's like I'm always in a rush and I can't. This is a little better. It improves upon that. We get to take it to like the next level of conversation. So you guys let me know if that worked for you or not or whatever, and all your thoughts and everything in between. But I love you guys and it's all good. So that's that for now. More awesome high-level questions that, you know, more expansive questions. These are expansive questions, and that's what I love, expansive thoughts and questions. It's a good sign, guys. All right. Over and out for now, Jedis. Love and respect to every one of you.